Hi, so for the past couple posts, we have been looking at pieces that were formerly thought to include pink topaz, shown here, that turned out to be partially or completely pink tourmaline, which is shown here. And I wanted to give you some background and to take the time to be a little bit more generous about how hard it is to separate these out and how a gemologist would go about it. So the first thing is that in a perfect world, you would have stones that are loose and completely different. But in this case, you could have the exact same perfect pinks, equally translucent, equal in tone. You can see here, this is the Chaumet piece from circa 1890 that was discovered to have tourmaline in it, and this is the piece that is all tourmaline that has been described as pink topaz in the past, and is the Savoy pink tourmaline parure. So assuming they're equal, the way that we typically start as a gemologist is to look at the way the stones break up the light, also known as their refractive index. So you take your refractometer, we even have a cheat sheet on the side, and some incredibly toxic liquid, and test the way that the stone breaks up the light. Again, in a perfect world, there would be no overlap whatsoever with the range in which the stones break up the light. That does not turn out to be true. Unfortunately, the range for topaz overlaps with tourmaline. So we know we have equal, beautiful pink stones that overlap. It's unclear how to separate them out. So I'm a GIA GG, so the next thing I would do is to go to my GIA manual, look up pink translucent stones that fall within the range that I've just measured in refractive index, and try to find other ways to separate them out. So what are our other ways? When we look on the two sheets, what we see is that we have a couple of really strong, but frankly difficult and annoying options. The first is to look at birefringence. So birefringence is the way in which the light is refracted. Does it go in both directions? Does it vary? That's not a very accurate description, but it's good enough, trust me. So in this case, we do have a difference that can be helpful, and that does turn out to be the way that the gemologist in Heritage at Chaumet was able to make this updated separation. So what you can see here is that topaz is going to be a completely different range of birefringence, and that's going to help us out a lot. Ordinarily, and I think this is probably the go-to for a lot of people, you would think of tourmaline as having pleochroism, a lot of different colors. Multiple colors can be visible within the stone. But in this case, these pink stones are cut so beautifully that you wouldn't see, say, the brown that you would be looking for. They just don't have it. So that's not going to help us. We can have, again, the exact same color, exact same tone, and they can hit the same number for our eye, but now we're going to do birefringence, and we're going to do the range of the birefringence and the direction. So one is biaxial, one is uniaxial, meaning when you're testing it, one basically jiggles in one direction and the other one jiggles in both directions. There's a lot of human error possible when you're doing this, so again, you're going to want somebody who's incredibly experienced with testing gemstones. But just to kind of give you a sense of how difficult this is, if the stones are in the settings, and these are important historic settings, which they are in both cases, it's even, all the more difficult to get a good reading and to feel confident in the results. And we're really lucky that in this case we have both. So hope this helps.